cars. It's kind of like if you combine a remote control racer with Splatoon. If that sounds weird to you, it should, but it works really well. Basically, you drive around and leave a paint trail all over a black and white background. There's different goals for every level and different obstacles to get to them. As you can see, it's not an overly complex game, but it is a very fun game. And that, frankly, is kind of the point of a game, right? Yes? I've personally wasted a ton of time with this one this month, and I have to give it a recommendation. Number 9, circles. At all times, there's circles flying at a blue core, which you have to use up building walls to protect. It's not too hard to do, at least in concept, but as it gets going, it becomes increasingly hectic and can become a rather difficult game. Now, obviously, you can't make any more walls than the core will allow, and the core regenerates when the walls are broken, but if one gets past, it destroys one of the blue circles around the core, which essentially acts as a life. You get 3 mistakes, there's 3 circles. I'll be honest, I didn't actually understand it first, but once I got going, I had a really good time with it. And it's actually pretty simple, but sometimes it's the simple games that trip you up. This one is a lot of fun, and I suggest trying it out. Number 8, Tennis Champs Returns. Tennis Champs Returns is a remake of a 20-year-old Amiga game, but for something that looks deceptively like an arcade game, it's going to offer you a lot of depth. Is it an accurate simulation of tennis? No, but then again, really is any tennis video game. Ultimately, playing tennis on any video game is not like playing tennis in real life, so why not worry about making it fun? That's exactly what Tennis Champs Return does. Although it looks really standard, the on-screen controller is extremely responsive, and I was very happy with it. There's a couple of minorly weird things, but if you're looking for a game that's somewhere between arcade and simulation, and like tennis, this is it. Number 7, As Divine Menace. It is Kemco's first direct sequel. Not their first sequel, but this continues the story of As Divine Bios. Now, the game isn't particularly unstandard as far as battles go or anything like that, but it does add a couple of JRPG staples like limit breaks, and has a well-balanced battle system that never seems tedious because of its reliance on special attacks to move things along quickly. Now, is this the JRPG that finally breaks all of the tropes and evolves the entire genre? Not really. But as far as JRPGs go, this is about as solid as you're going to get on mobile, and frankly, I'm a sucker for this type of game. Doing it right means I'll play it. Number 6, OKKO Lakewood Plaza Turbo is the first game from Cartoon Network that's an entirely original game. The co-creator of Cartoon Network's Steven Universe pitched this as a TV show, but they eventually turned it into a video game after not picking up the pilot. If you're familiar with Double Dragon, you're familiar with what kind of game this is, and frankly, it is such a fun version of that type of game. The controls are extremely intuitive and play on the full screen as a controller type situation, which more games that require more complex controls really need to start doing. I'm a big fan of Cartoon Network's games, and now that they're moving into the original arena, this is exactly how they should be doing it. Number 5, Thumb Drift. The subtitle of this game is Furious One-Touch Car Racing in the App Store, and man does it accomplish that. So here's the deal, a lot of car games I kinda don't like because of the tilt controls, and frankly, this game has that figured out. This is a touch racing game, and it doesn't give you a stupid control scheme that tries to echo console racing game. Instead, it gives you a control scheme that's based entirely on swiping, holding, and drifting. Frankly, it comes off as kind of Mario Kart with a completely different control scheme that works incredibly well. I love this game, and as I said, I am not a big racing fan on the mobile platforms because most of them just haven't figured out a good control scheme. This one has. Number 4, Tomb of the Mask. Okay, remember how great Downwell is? Now imagine if you had like a rapid pace Pac-Man that was kind of like Downwell but going up. You can see exactly what this game is from the footage that we're showing right now, and it is exactly as fun as it looks. If you're not into this type of game, you're probably not going to like it, but at the same time, if this is the type of thing that looks like it might be exciting to you, it is. It's perfect in every way if that's the type of game you like. And frankly, there's just not much more to say about it. It's simple, it's fun, it's fast, and it's going to waste all of your time. And if you're not sure about it, then give it a try, because I'll say this, I am sure about it. Number 3, Black Box. So Black Box does everything that it can to try to untether the control scheme from the phone itself. In order to solve the puzzles of Black Box, you have to move the phone, You have to press buttons on the phone, you have to use the camera on the phone, and you have to even make noise into the phone yourself. If you're attempting to do the puzzles in this game, you might look silly, but a lot of people said that about the Nintendo Wii, and the original one was the best-selling console of that generation. You literally never interact with the screen at all. It's all controlled in other ways, and it's a very clever puzzle game that I respect, frankly. It's extremely ambitious, and it succeeds at what it's trying to do. Number 2, all is lost. There's a war going on around you out in space. You're not exactly on the winning side, you're being annihilated. And the crew members of the ships that are being annihilated need direction on where to go to the escape pods. It kind of borrows from the endless runner genre, except for you can change direction, and you swipe left to right, up or down to avoid obstacles. And if you really love the gameplay, there is an endless mode, and frankly, it's a really well-designed game that has kind of a unique visual style to it. And if you enjoyed Mirror's Edge a few years ago, this is the type of thing I think that you'll like. Bear in mind, I mean Mirror's Edge the mobile game, not the full-blown console game. And finally, number 1, Clash Royale. Supercell brings us a combination of Clash of Clans, card games, and MOBA games, and pretty much blow everything else out of the water. Seriously, this game is so much fun, and that might feel a little weird on account Clash of Clans kind of isn't that well liked due to its business model. And I'm not going to say that this is that much better as far as that goes, however, the core gameplay mechanics I enjoy more than Clash of Clans. And bear in mind, I enjoy the core game mechanics of Clash of Clans, I do not enjoy its business model though. What are you going to do? Obviously, this is a bit more competitive of a game than Clash of Clans, and it combines the elements of what I mentioned earlier in such a way that it's just something you have to try. So